Hey, Tuesday at 2 here at Circle B Diecast in Concord, North Carolina. So glad you joined us. Steve Post from the Motor Racing Network in here just talking a little motorsports, talking some racing, that's for sure. We're glad you joined us. Victor, John, Thomas, Victor is here again, and Robert joining us here on the program. So glad you joined us, and good time, that's for sure. So what y'all do on your off weekend? Did you miss NASCAR? I was talking to one of my buddies, one of my radio station buddies, and he said, I don't mind that. I don't mind. It's just weird not having it on Sunday afternoon. And I said, that's good. So I don't know. It's interesting, that's for sure, to have an off weekend. So, but no more off weekends. No more off weekends. As a matter of fact, 20 straight races for the NASCAR Cup Series. So if you've got a question, jump in here and ask it away. John starts right out with, will Tony Stewart sell his operation and go drag racing? No idea. He's already gone drag racing. So half of that we know is true. Tony will actually be at a media event tomorrow to announce, we're believing, a new driver in the Kevin Harvick car. All indications are Josh Berry. The reason I am not big on speculating things is the reason I say all indications are Josh Berry. What I kind of base that on is nobody's denied it. Tomorrow, and Tony will be there. So we'll see. I likely will not be asking him about him selling his whole operation. Maybe somebody will. And if they do, we'll let you know. We'll get right back to you. So, absolutely. And fun stuff for sure. Erskine said, missed, missed NASCAR, so had to watch the Cars to a great show at Dominion, and it was. What a thriller that was. Really good racing. Erskine, I'm glad you went up there. Really good racing. Great guy, weekend warrior, Bobby McCarty, won the race. Last lap, side by side. Him and a really good young racer, Brendan Queen, nickname is Butterbean. They put on a show. They really did. And both are just really good guys. And actually, Butterbean kind of got into Carson Quaffle, who's also a really good guy. And Minnie Tyrell, who's also a good guy, finished third. So it was really good racing up there. And I thought, Erskine, I'm glad you went up there. I think I saw you maybe with your short track Saturday night. And it is good. It is good. So, I love it. I love that you did that. And I think that's really, really cool. We'll see. Also, what's your thoughts on Sunday night racing in the summer? Well, we're going to find out because we have Sunday night Nashville this week and Sunday night Atlanta in 3 weeks. Let's see. It's Nashville, Chicago, Atlanta, I think it is. So we're going to find out on that. My thoughts, I don't know. I'm anxious to see what it does. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think a lot of the reason with it being Nashville and Atlanta is just the heat in the day in the South. But I think it's interesting, and I think we're going to get a little sample of that in 2 of the next 3 races with Atlanta and with Nashville this coming weekend. So stay tuned. It's good. It's fantastic. So, great stuff. Thomas says, I've worked for Goodwill for 7 years and I've seen several diecast service core. I have not. I have not. And I'll occasionally swing by a Goodwill store, but I've not gone in there and bought diecast. But that's neat that they have it there. Anywhere you can get your diecast, the best place to get it is Circle B Diecast. Hey, mentioning that, Brent has been out traveling the countries buying collections. And there is a separate link, and I saw one that came through this week, and they had everything Dale Earnhardt autographed and Dale Earnhardt Jr. autographed. And you can go on the website and just look, and it's there's a separate collection of collections that he's bought. And boy, I'm telling you what, and whether it's, and I'm using your question there, Thomas. Sometimes you sneak into a Goodwill, you find something really, really rich. Sometimes Brent buys one of these collections and you go on Circle B Diecast and you find that one car you've been looking for. So I would check that out. There's a collections link right on the website, and I would check that out. Robert endorses it. Really, really cool stuff. That one I looked through was all Dale Earnhardt Jr. autograph stuff. I was like, holy cow. And it was a little bit of everything. And it was really, really good. So, yeah, and the Boss Man's out buying collections. So, yeah, it's good stuff for sure. Yeah, indeed. All right, so what I wanted to do this time, and I wanted to talk a little bit about where we're going here with NASCAR Cup Series racing. Okay, we have got 10 races between now and the playoffs. Okay, 3 road courses: Chicago, Indianapolis, Watkins Glen. 2 flatter short tracks: Richmond and New Hampshire. 2 super speedway-ish races: Daytona and Atlanta. 2 intermediate tracks: the concrete at Nashville and Michigan, and 1 tricky triangle, Pocono. What a diverse group of racetracks. Okay? 3 road courses, 2 flat short tracks, 2 super speedways, 2 intermediates, and a Pocono. Wow. That's fascinating to me, the 10 races we have coming up to the playoffs. And where we're sitting right now, we're sitting with 10 drivers with wins. So we're assuming 10 drivers locked in. So we're looking for 6 other drivers. But where this gets interesting is when you talk about road courses or super speedways. Drivers on the outside looking in. Daniel Suarez. He could win road course, super speedway, anywhere. Ty Gibbs, he could win anywhere. Ty Gibbs is, he has really come into his own. Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell was one of the fastest cars at Sonoma, and we know his skill set at Daytona and Atlanta. AJ Allmendinger. These are drivers outside of the top 16 that would bump in and start moving people out. Okay? So, Austin Cindric, Corey LaJoie, Justin Haley, Todd Gilliland, Ryan Preece, Eric Almirola. Chase Elliott is 27th in points. Okay? There are a bunch of drivers outside. Austin Dillon went and won Daytona last year. Eric Jones is 30th in points. Chase Briscoe had a win last year. He's 31st in points. And what I'm saying is we have got these 10 unique racetracks coming up. I think they're fascinating. And what did I list there? I probably listed 10 different drivers that are not in the playoffs right now that could get a win and potentially lock themselves in the playoffs. So this gets really, really fascinating, or maybe not. Because here's the deal. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is the lowest of the winning drivers, and he's only 13th in points. So all those drivers would be lower in the point standings than Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is, who is the lowest driver of the point drivers that have got in. I just find it fascinating. I really do. I think we're in a really interesting spot. And I agree with what Robert says. Not a few drivers claiming all the victories. Diverse talent. I think we could get a couple of upset winners and unique winners that really upsets the apple cart. So if you're Ross Chastain and Kevin Harvick are in solid shape. They're 170 some points up on the cutoff berth. Now, we start getting a bunch of new winners, then they start to get a little concerned. Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, 96 and 102 up. Somewhat solid. Boy, I know they'd like to win some races, though. That would make things a whole lot easier. Bubba Wallace is 26 up. Alex Bowman is 3 up. Lot of room there for sure. A lot of room there for sure. So it's going to be good. It really is. It's going to be a great, great run to the championship. 10 races, 10 different racetracks, and we'll see where they go and going from there. Thomas says if Stenhouse wins Atlanta, that could lock him into the playoffs for sure. Yeah. I think, while I think that we're going to get some unique winners, I don't know that we get 6 winners is what it would take, 6 different winners. Because you got to also figure this. William Byron, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, or Ricky may very well jump up and get another win as well in this window. So I find it interesting. It's really, really cool. I just think where we're at with it is a neat spot with those 10 upcoming races, 10 unique racetracks, and all of the drivers locked in with wins, locked in quotes here. And then if one of those drivers can get another win, then and that also eliminates someone from outside jumping in. So this is where it gets real interesting, folks. Hang on, it's going to be a great ride. Going to be a great ride, and then we kick the playoffs off at Darlington. Oh man, I love that too. Love that too. So really, really fun. Good stuff. Good stuff to think about. Xfinity Series, they've got a ways to go. 12 races before their playoffs. Trucks, only 4 races before their playoffs. Nashville, Mid-Ohio, Pocono, and Richmond. You talk about a variety of races for the tough trucks. Nashville, Mid-Ohio, Pocono, Richmond. They start in August at O'Reilly Raceway Park or Lucas Oil Raceway Park or whatever it is there at Indianapolis. Fun stuff. Really, really exciting time, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to follow along. So we'll see what we have here as we go forward here into the meat and potatoes, if you will, of the season. So with that, Clifford says, what's your thought on Kyle Larson making it into the playoffs with 2 wins? Clifford, I'm going way out on a limb, and saying Kyle Larson will be in the playoffs this year. I think he'll be in the playoffs. Fun stuff for sure. Good stuff. It's going to be great. Eric Almirola, that's a great question. He's one of those guys that's weird, okay? And I don't mean in a personal way. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. You know, husband, father, not weird that way. But he's one of those guys. Remember a couple years ago when he just rolled into New Hampshire and whooped everybody? And Eric's a guy that can do that on a speedway. He can do that on a short track. He can do it on an intermediate track. So I don't know. I think that you can make a better case for others to win specific races, but Eric's one of those guys that I think could do it. He's quite capable of doing that. So, but I think he's a little bit longer shot than some of the other Caymans. And Victor, yes, I saw your comment about the Reese's ice cream thing the first time, the second time, and the third time. All right? And I can't wait to go there. Victor, if you're going to be at Pocono, maybe we can meet and I'll lick the side of the car. Okay? There we go. Because I love Reese's ice cream. Thank you, Victor. Thank you very much for playing along. So it is going to be fun. Also going forward here, just want to mention this. The next 2 weeks, I'm not going to be here. Okay, so that's why I'm abusing you now, Victor. I'm going to make up for the 2 weeks that I won't get to abuse you over the next couple of weeks. Okay, next week I do this thing in Charlotte. It's called the Summer Shootout. Okay, and we got rained out tonight because we're in a monsoon here. This is ridiculous what's happening here. Okay, and we're going to start next week at 2:30, I think it is, so I can be there at 2 o'clock. So we're not going to do next week. The following Tuesday is the 4th of July, and nobody's going to be in the building. It's the holiday. It's the day off. So we'll be back on July 11th, I guess it'll be, and the Abusive Victor tour will continue. So, yeah. So, I don't know. It's just, it's a busy time of the year, and we're going to miss doing it. That's for sure. So, Jay wants to know, why don't they race NASCAR at Iowa Speedway? It's a great question, Jay. There's just only so many dates on the calendar, and Iowa Speedway hasn't got one. They run the Indy cars there, and they have a concert out there, that Hy-Vee concert that they have for the IndyCar stuff. It is going to be phenomenal. For whatever reason, the facility and NASCAR have not been able to get together, and I think NASCAR's somewhat involved in it. But I mean, the other problem is who do you take a race from to get a race there? And I think that's a good question as well. So yeah, need to. I loved it. I did a couple races. I did Xfinity and trucks, I think, out at Iowa. I love it. Out Newton, Iowa. Great little town, that's for sure. So fun stuff. Hey, great catching up with everybody here. Really, really fun. Love chatting with you guys. We'll see you back on July 11th. So 3 weeks we'll be back for our Tuesday at 2 visit. I'm Steve Post, the Postman from Motor Racing Network. Thanks for joining us this time. And remember, all your diecast needs at www.circlebdiecast.com.